The plasma bolt screamed through the training arena at 3,000 meters per second, its blue-white core hot enough to vaporize titanium. Lieutenant Eva Reeves had fired it with perfect form, her shoulders squared, her breathing controlled, her target acquisition flawless. The bolt should have struck the practice drone dead center dot. Instead, it stopped. 30 centimeters from the drone, the plasma bolt simply hung in the air, crackling and spitting like a caged lightning strike. Ava's mouth fell open. In 12 years of military service, she had never seen anything like it. "Apologies," said a deep voice behind her. Eva spun around, her sidearm halfway out of its holster, before her brain caught up with her reflexes. The man standing at the arena entrance was tall, broad-shouldered, and utterly calm. His skin had a faint golden cast that marked him as non-human. His eyes were amber, pupils vertical like a cat's. He wore simple gray clothing that suggested civilian status, but he carried himself like someone who had seen combat. "Who are you?" Eva demanded. "This is a restricted military facility. My name is Cale," the stranger said. "I am here as part of the cultural exchange program. I was told I could observe your training exercises." "Nobody told me," Eva said, though she lowered her weapon slightly. The exchange program was real enough. Earth had been part of the Galactic Assembly for only 3 years, and the bureaucracy was still catching up with itself. Cale gestured toward the floating plasma bolt. "Again, my apologies. Your weapon discharge startled me, and I reacted on instinct." "Reacted how, exactly?" Ava's eyes narrowed. "That bolt is contained by electromagnetic fields traveling at relativistic speed. You can't just stop it. Among my people, such things are possible," Cale said simply. He raised one hand, and the plasma bolt drifted toward him like a balloon on a string. It settled into his palm, still crackling, still radiating enough heat to cook flesh. Cale seemed unbothered. He closed his fingers around it, and the bolt winked out of existence. Eva felt her training kick in. Enhanced abilities meant enhanced threat. Her hand moved back toward her sidearm. "What species are you?" "Talvin," Cale said. "We are rare in this part of the galaxy." "I did not mean to alarm you, Lieutenant Reeves. How do you know my name?" "It is written on your uniform," Cale pointed out, which was true, and made Eva feel foolish for asking. She forced herself to relax slightly. If he had wanted to hurt her, he could have done so already. The fact that he had stopped her plasma bolt suggested abilities far beyond human limits. "Fine, you can observe. Stay out of the way." Cale inclined his head in what might have been a bow. He moved to the edge of the arena and stood perfectly still, watching. Eva tried to focus on her training routine, but her concentration was broken. She fired 3 more bolts at various targets, each one striking true, but her mind kept drifting back to the stranger and his casual display of power. When she finished, she found Cale still standing in the same spot, his expression thoughtful. "Your technique is excellent," he said as she approached. "Your accuracy is among the best I have seen." "Thanks," Eva said, surprised by the genuine compliment. "So what brings a Talvin to Earth?" "I thought your people avoided the assembly." "Most do," Cale agreed. "We prefer isolation. But I am here to study human combat philosophy. Your species is unique in the galaxy. Because we're violent?" Eva asked dryly. "Because you are effective despite your limitations," Cale said without a trace of condescension. "Humans have no natural armor, no enhanced strength, no psychic abilities. Yet you have carved out a place among species that possess all these advantages. It is remarkable." Eva found herself warming to him slightly. "We're stubborn. That counts for something." "Indeed it does," Cale said. And something in his tone suggested he understood stubbornness personally. Over the following weeks, Cale became a regular presence at the training facility. He observed, asked questions, and occasionally offered insights from his own military experience. Eva learned that he had been a soldier among his people, a commander in fact, before some unspecified incident had led him to leave active service. He never elaborated, and Eva respected his privacy enough not to push. They fell into an easy friendship. Cale was intelligent, thoughtful, and surprisingly funny in a deadpan way. Eva found herself looking forward to their conversations. When he asked if she would accompany him to a Talvin cultural demonstration at the Assembly Embassy, she agreed without hesitation. The demonstration took place in a large hall filled with representatives from dozens of species. Eva wore her dress uniform, feeling slightly out of place among the elaborate outfits favored by alien dignitaries. Cale guided her through the crowd, introducing her to various individuals whose names she immediately forgot. Then the demonstration began. A Talvin warrior entered the center of the hall, carrying what looked like a ceremonial staff. He moved through a series of forms that were half martial art, half dance. The movements were beautiful and precise. Then another warrior entered, this one armed with energy weapons. The first warrior began deflecting the energy blasts with his bare hands, just as Cale had done with Eva's plasma bolt. The crowd murmured appreciatively. Eva watched, fascinated despite herself. "Among my people," Cale said quietly, "the ability to turn aside energy weapons is considered the mark of a true warrior. It requires not just physical discipline, but mental focus. To intercept a plasma bolt is to demonstrate complete mastery of oneself. Is that common among the Talvin?" Eva asked. "No," Cale said. "Perhaps 1 in 10,000 can do it reliably. It takes decades of training." Eva glanced at him with new respect. "You made it look easy." "I have been training since childhood," Cale admitted. The demonstration continued, but Eva's attention had wandered. She was thinking about Cale, about his casual display of an ability that was apparently extraordinarily rare among his people. She was thinking about how he had downplayed his own skills, never once bragging or showing off, despite having every right to do so. She was so lost in thought that she almost missed the ambassador's announcement. "In honor of our human guests, Talvin ambassador was saying, we will now demonstrate the right of challenge, a sacred tradition among our people." 2 warriors entered the arena. One fired a plasma bolt at the other. The second warrior caught it in midair, just as Cale had done. The crowd applauded. "The right of challenge," the ambassador explained, "is an ancient custom. If a warrior intercepts another warrior's killing strike, the first warrior is bound by honor to acknowledge the superior skill of the second. In ancient times, this acknowledgement took the form of marriage, binding 2 powerful bloodlines together." Eva felt a cold weight settle in her stomach. "Wait," she said quietly to Cale. "You caught my plasma bolt." Cale's expression was carefully neutral. "I did. Was that bolt going to hit its target?" "Yes," Cale said. "It would have destroyed the training room. Among my people, that would qualify as a killing strike." Eva stared at him. "You triggered a marriage rite?" "Accidentally," Cale said quickly. "I was not thinking. I simply reacted. But it still counts?" Cale hesitated. "Among traditional Talvin, yes. If word spread that I had invoked the right of challenge and then failed to honor it, my reputation would be destroyed. My family would be shamed." Eva's mind raced. This was insane. She barely knew Cale. They were friends, yes, but marriage? That was something else entirely. "What happens if we don't go through with it?" she asked. "Nothing happens to you," Cale said. "You are human. Our traditions do not bind you, but I would be marked as honorless. I would likely be exiled from Talvin society entirely." Eva looked at him, really looked at him. His expression was calm, but she could see the tension in his shoulders, the worry in his eyes. He had made a mistake, a moment of instinct that had triggered consequences he clearly never intended. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" she demanded. "I hoped it would not matter," Cale admitted. "I hoped that, because you are human, the tradition would not apply. But the ambassador's demonstration has made it clear. Others saw what happened. The Council of Elders has already been notified." Eva wanted to be angry, but she found she couldn't manage it. Cale looked genuinely miserable, and she knew him well enough by now to understand that he would never have put her in this position deliberately. "How does this marriage thing work?" she asked finally. Cale blinked, clearly surprised by the question. "It is primarily ceremonial. Among modern Talvin, such marriages are partnerships of mutual respect rather than romantic bonds. We would be expected to appear together at formal functions, to support each other's careers, to present a united front to society. But there are no expectations beyond that. So we wouldn't have to actually live together or anything. Not unless we chose to," Cale said carefully. Eva thought about it. She thought about Cale, about his kindness and his quiet strength. She thought about how he had never once made her feel inferior, despite his superior abilities. She thought about how he had become one of her closest friends over the past few weeks. She thought about honor and tradition, and the look in his eyes when he talked about his family. "All right," she said. "Let's do it." Cale stared at her. "You do not have to do this, Eva. I will not hold you responsible for my mistake." "I know," Eva said. "But you caught a plasma bolt to protect a training drone, and that seems like exactly the kind of stupid say